Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to talk about the cat fight on The View. Can I say that? Am I allowed to say that?
Yeah.
Do I have your permission to say that?
This time.
This time.
Yeah. Do I tell him why that's an issue?
Sure, it was
because
20 years ago.
In his idiocy when we were dating, used to meet him online to talk. And the one time I met him online to talk, he kept disappearing because he was talking to his ex-girlfriend. And then when I got mad, he said, cat fight round. And I still married him. My kids say it's a miracle they're here.
So here's a little bit of free advice from an older man to the younger men listening. Don't do that. It is a miracle. It is a miracle that our kids are still here. Do not do that.
Or here at all. Hey, so anyway, to the point. Cat fight. So The View apparently had a cat fight, basically.
Yeah.
Verbal cat fight yesterday, and it's hilarious. And I wanted to talk about it because I have some thoughts. I'm going to throw my claws into the mix.
All right. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, you'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to clownfishminus.com for more content. I just posted a new podcast last night. You can check that out if you're a Minus Club member. We also have merch out there. And so I'm going to be honest. I am thinking this is part of the marketing. I think they're trying to cause drama because they know people talk about them when they get drama, and they're trying to kickstart their YouTube competitor streaming show that they're going to do.
Or they're just getting tired of, Sunny's shit.
Yeah,
and just getting tired of it.
Sunny's in the middle of this one, isn't she?
Well, Whoopi kept throwing herself into it too. Oh, the whole lot was in it. It was a whole fiasco.
This is just
I can't wait to talk about it.
It's just like it's called the hen house. I mean, this is just it's wild. It's like I don't know, whatever. This is
Don't call it the hen house because that would imply cocks are interested.
Oh, it's funny. Whoopi used to be pretty edgy back in the day, right? She used to.
Oh yeah, no, but she won't do that in comedy because somehow they're talking about hate speech and it all devolves into she doesn't have to put up with people calling her racist names. Well, I agree, you don't have to, but that wasn't the point. So we're going to talk about it.
All right. So this comes from Entertainment Weekly. Entertainment Weekly is covering the cat fights on The View. The View's Alyssa Farah Griffin rolls eyes at Joy Behar during tense fight on air after Whoopi Goldberg warns be nice.
This is like nothing. Like, I mean, this isn't even the best parts of the whole thing.
They're like face cream visionary and cherry sweater wearing fashion icon Alyssa Farah Griffin reached a breaking point on The View after co-host Joy Behar shaded her on air during a particularly tense verbal clash about hate speech.
Yeah, well, because, again, define hate speech. Because I think that where most people would assume if you mean hate speech, you mean calling people vulgar names, things that, like racist-y names, sexist-y names, that kind of stuff. Racist-y, those kind of things that people would attribute to hate speech.
What if it...
But... The thing is, it's funny to me because they're talking about, it's misinformation, disinformation, which I find hilarious given some of the circumstances recently. So are you going to play the video? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, we're going to play the video. I got to listen. I haven't watched this yet because
I've seen parts of it.
Like I look at The View as kind of a cautionary tale on what not to do, right? And it's because it's a Disney thing. But I think they might actually have it figured out. I think they know drama, man, look at all the upvotes on this going up. Drama sells, right? Like people like fights. Women like to watch other women fight. This is why we watch Jerry Springer. That's why Jerry Springer was on the air. This is why YouTubers get into fights with each other and try to start fights to stay relevant. So apparently this is about Meta easing up on their fact checking.
Yes.
Is what kicked it off. And it said after Sunny and Griffin engaged in a light disagreement that ended with Sunny urging Griffin to allow her to finish expressing her thoughts on hate speech versus free speech. The show went to a commercial break. When the program returned, Whoopi Goldberg prompted her to finich.
I know, but here's the thing: is why was always Sunny has to have all the opinions on everything? But anyway, go ahead. And
she's
play.
the one that's getting. She's the one that's getting. I
know
more because people like to watch her.
She just got done having the balls to say that J6 was at the same level as the World War II and the other thing that happened then.
Yeah.
And then she has the gall
I know,
to
right?
go on about misinformation, disinformation, which I find hilariously stupid. But anyway, let's go.
Yeah, this is coming from Sky News Australia. I don't think they have an official clip because it's kind of embarrassing.
We'll just react to it so we can keep pausing it.
All right.
But on the free speech of it, and I actually agreed with Mark Zuckerberg. Of course, there's pressure because Trump's coming into office, but I do think that there's a cultural and societal desire to be able to talk about things openly. And actually, liberals used to be the ones who were super
Yes.
free speech. The
Yes.
famous
Shit,
saying
look
goes,
at her face.
I disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to the death
Yes.
your right to say.
Yes.
So
But I will not
if I may
defend to
finish-
the death
if I,
your
guys,
right
I can't
to
finish
call
a
me.
sentence here.
Sometimes-
Wait, yeah, but see, you know what? Pause it for a second. They keep telling her that she doesn't get to she's interrupting everybody else, but then they interrupt her the whole time.
They do, isn't she? I think she's like the only conservative on this show or something. They always go after. It's like, why is the View all the same views? Why is it all? Because anytime they have a conservative on, they just
Or someone differs in opinion, they get
they
booted.
eat them, right?
Be nice.
They're from majority
Be
groups.
nice.
This is not me standing out.
Look at her. Look at her face.
People get hate speech directed at them every day.
Yeah.
No one is
All right, I
encouraging.
guess no
It's
one
saying
gets to
simply-
finish a sentence.
Yeah, exactly. Pause. Fuck you, Joy. Pause. Here's the thing. She's like, everyone at the table gets hate speech directed at him, and she's probably right. But they're mad because they're like, well, each of us have it worse than you, and it's a whole Prussian Olympic situation going on here. And the thing is, hate speech that is actual hate speech, right? You're telling somebody, you're making very super derogatory comments at somebody based on their, appearance, their, sexual identity, their gender, their race, etc. I think rational people know the difference between hate speech and I'm disagreeing with you. Until, people knew about this and the difference, and there was a difference until about, 10 years ago. And then it became anything you don't like or I don't like that you say is hate speech. It's misinformation, disinformation if I don't agree with you. And that's what pisses me off. Like saying, Joy Behar's a bitch isn't hate speech. But then making comments about her, background, about her, in other ways could be if you're using slurs and stuff.
Yeah,
There's a difference.
Everything became a microaggression. Everything
Right.
became, I just think it's highly ironic that the show has hosts named Sunny, Joy, and Whoopi, and they're about as mirthful as
Yeah, nothing.
nothing.
But let's give them a weekend show.
Oh God.
Okay.
No, I think the point Alyssa's making here is she is a free
Well, don't
speech.
speak for her. She speaks very well for herself.
No, but
Oh my God.
and I'm not
But
doing
we
that.
all act like we're for free speech when it's the things we like. When
Yes.
somebody wants to defend
Yes.
free speech,
Yes.
people
That is
disagree
true.
with.
That is true.
That's true.
That is
100%.
exactly true.
You can see it, especially with the media. Like if a person they like does something, and then a person they don't like does something, there's definitely a difference in how they are treated and portrayed by the media.
It's like we say all the time, hey, I don't agree with you, but you know what? Let's agree to disagree because I think you're right. You have a right to have your opinion.
Case in point, they call for certain conservative celebrities to get fired from their jobs, to get
Yes.
blacklisted, but then Whoopi can go on and make the comment she makes, and she gets a 2-week suspension.
Oh, well, yeah, and then Sunny makes comments that are worse than Gina Carano made. Gina Carano got fired and she gets nothing. She doesn't have to apologize, nothing. And then she gets to tell everybody else they're all about disinformation and misinformation.
Yeah.
Which is going to do. I don't know if they have the clip on here, but I have the quote. So when Sunny came back, this is what basically she was saying. She's like, there's a difference between free speech and hate speech. We know that. Free speech I welcome. Bullshit. I think everyone welcomes. It's your constitutional right. When you start delving into hate speech, which is what is happening all over social media, there's a problem with that. When you start delving into misinformation, disinformation, there's a problem with that. And then she speculated about President Trump coming back to the White House. Yes, there's a problem with misinformation, disinformation, Sonny. Why were you doing it? Why were you comparing January 6th to World War II? Why?
Yeah,
But that misinformation? Disinformation?
Why did you have to read a prepared statement from Disney's legal team?
Right, because you are the last person,
Right.
the last person to make comments about misinformation and disinformation. I'm just so tired of it. And look, I think most people know the difference between hate speech and free speech. The problem has become that everything that basically that you don't, if you don't agree with me, it's hate speech. Okay, if you said, I don't want to vote for Harris because I don't think she's a good candidate, hate speech. I'm like, bullshit. It is a problem. It is a giant problem. Now, look, that being said, do I think it's okay for people to make racist, derogatory, misogynistic, whatever comments of people that are clearly hate speech? Hell hell no. It's not okay. I don't ever think it's okay. But I can think back to like the Chris Pratt situation when they were trying to get him canceled about church, which turned out I didn't even go to that church.
Yeah, he didn't even go to that church. Yeah.
People were like, trying to get his cast members to backstab him. And I remember Zoe Saldana wouldn't do it and said that, he was a good guy and everything else. And then the same people who were going on about, he's a hate monger, started calling her racist names and slurs that I would never use ever.
Yeah.
And they were just calling her that because she didn't do what they wanted. The same thing happened to Rosario Dawson. Mm-hmm. We've seen it over and over and over again. You go to Blue Sky, that's supposed to be the voice of, Reason, the far left, right? They're over there making even worse derogatory comments. So, but that's okay, right?
Yeah. I just think it's like, it's crazy. I think they're actually stoking the fire for views. I think they're probably I'm telling you, they're probably having a meeting. They're probably like, oh my God, ladies, this is it. This is how we come back. Just get in fights and people are going to tune in. It's going to be like the Jerry Springer show.
That's what you're going to do. You're supposed to be so classy, right? But then, Whoopi Goldberg goes down and she goes on about, someone makes it all about race. And then she's talking about, they say about comedy. And then she mentioned about the comedy thing. And she's like, but you shouldn't be saying certain things in comedy. Griffin's like, we need to push comedy to limits. And Goldberg's like, comedy does push limits, but you need to be smarter. And goes on, you don't have to offend me to be funny, which, yes, I agree. You don't have to always offend people to be funny. That being said, a lot of comedians do. Goldberg herself was a comedian. I'm sure she said stuff that was offensive. Beyond
God, yeah. I used to watch her comedy specials on HBO. She said some crazy shit.
Yeah, well, she said stuff but that's okay because it was her.
Right.
And then they had a video, they have a picture going around that she's sitting next to Ted Danson in blackface.
One.
Yeah,
that was.
I'm like, you didn't say anything then. I'm not saying it's right, but I'm just saying, you have a lot of balls to be this big of a hypocrite and sit on here. I mean, mostly geared at Sonny. But it's like you're so mad about it because you basically what you want. I remember The View and other places like it as soon as the election was over, talking about how we need to control the media and social media, basically to make sure the proper narrative is presented so that everybody knows what's right and what's wrong, which is basically censorship. You go on about free speech and hate speech, but what the reality of the situation is, when you boil it all down, is they want full control over social media so they can censor who they want and allow who they want to speak, and basically try to control the narrative, the public, and get the votes the way they want it. And that's what it is. And don't you dare say misinformation, disinformation, because a lot of you people were peddling the misinformation, disinformation during COVID, during election stuff. That's why everybody's caught off guard when Harris didn't win and everything else, because people like The View were making these bullshit statements. And then you have Sonny just literally being a hypocrite within a matter of a week.
This is funny, though. This is okay. So Griffin interrupted her once again. Later continued to stress that she feels there's never been a social media platform that's existed where you can't call people names. Sonny's trying to say it's only since Trump.
No, it's been like that for years.
Oh, yeah. Hostin, again, speculated the uptake and the acceptance of hate speech is due to the rise of Trump, an idea that Griffin rebuked. There's never been a social media platform that's existed where you can't call people names,
yes.
She said. It's not because Donald Trump got elected. Now you can call people names on social media. That's just not true. Goldberg stepped in, and they had Glenn Close in. But then, look, okay. So they're trying to be like, oh, look, these women are having this heated debate. And we get to the last paragraph. It's about hormones. During a December interview, this is coming from Entertainment Weekly, right?
Who wrote this? A woman?
I don't know. It's
Go up and see who wrote this. It better not be a dude.
Joey.
It's a dude.
Is it Joey Knowles?
Is it a dude? It better.
Wait. It's like he reports on drag queen podcast.
Bitch!
Oh my
please.
God!
Don't you dare tell me about hormones.
Wait, I gotta read this. This is so catty. This is the guy writing it so catty. Exactly.
Bitch!
During a December interview on the show, talk about major catfights. During a December interview on the show's Behind the Table podcast, Griffin said she's felt herself changing emotionally as she began a second cycle of IVF treatments.
Okay, wait. So they're trying to say that her being logical and making sense is because of her in vitro fertilization treatments. No, maybe because she's right. What's Sonny's problem?
I know, right?
I mean, is it the big stick up her ass? I mean, seriously.
Are you Sonny menstruating?
I can't believe this guy had the balls. I did. I guess this is her quote. I didn't cry during the first cycle. I didn't have meltdowns. I didn't feel hormonal swings. I think I got kind of cocky because the second cycle I've been a wreck. I've not felt myself. So basically,
hormones blamed. Oh my God, you can't make this up.
That literally had nothing to do with it.
Are you PMSing?
It's a December interview. Had nothing to do with January's episode.
She's just hormonal,
and
guys.
Joey here had to put this paragraph in the end. And as a woman, I am so effing insulted right now. Joey, you better not. You better come nowhere near me, Joey.
Oh, I misread this because, yeah, she had IVF treatments. I think I got kind of cocky because the second cycle I've been a wreck. I've not felt myself. I've been tired. I've been emotional.
Listen. This was a December interview. It had nothing to do with this episode of The View. And
She's
this
just
little
cranky.
bitch, and I'm not talking about Griffin, decided to put this paragraph at the end because, we're trying to be like, it's only regarding her, not the other hosts. About, well, she just probably was, calling them out because she's feeling cranky. Not because maybe you guys are a bunch of cows and are hypocritical.
I love this. This is assuming it's another woman. I don't watch this show, but every article I read about it seems like it's just a bunch of women screaming at each other.
You'd be correct. It's exhausting.
It's exhausting to watch. It's kind of Real Housewives of old dramatic morning TV women. Oh my God. That's just it. Like, I think they're leaning into it. I'm going to tell you the truth. I think Sunny's good for business. I think she's good for business. I think she's batshit crazy and she's good for business. And they're going to keep her on as long as they can keep her on until the lawsuits start piling up. Because they love it. They love it. It's the Jerry Springer show. That's what this is. And you've got some diva who writes about drag queen power hour or whatever being like, that hormonal bitch.
No, I just think it's funny. There was no dig at any other person on the show and their hormones, none of the other hosts. Just the one woman who disagreed with them and took Donald Trump's side. That's the one who's hormonal because in vitro guys,
She's cranky.
She's just cranky. That's why she did it. Not because she has actual valid points. It's because she's cranky.
I can't. Why the fuck are we talking about this show? Oh my God,
if you ever said to me, well, that's okay, honey, it's because you're hormonal. Well, you have said that before. What happened? What has happened? I have actually literally been
I blacked out the beatings. I don't remember.
I've actually literally been minding my own business at home. And then he comes back from the store and then a chocolate bar slides across the counter towards me. And I would love to say I'm making it up. I should just start acting bitchy, even if it's not the time, just so I get free chocolate.
You need a Snickers. Oh God, no! We actually have a giant Snickers on the wall. Well, we did in the.
It's not real.
It's at the other. No, we have a massive giant Snickers bar we found in the antique store. It was from a convenience store or something, but we had it hanging on the wall. I'm
What's that? Okay. Anyway, we wrapping this up.
Eat a Snickers.
Yeah,
eat a Snickers, Sonny.
I say,
Snickers, Whoopi.
Joey.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe. We'll talk later.
Bye.